Hey everybody, it's Comic Order 410. I'm fortunate enough to have a good rapport with some of my friends to where when we attend conventions we get books signed for each other. And with my show coming up here in Baltimore, I contacted some of my friends who were always helping me out and offered to get books signed for them. And when they sent their books, they were nice enough to send me free books. And that is awesome. You guys didn't have to do it, especially since we're always doing favors back and forth anyway. But I truly, truly appreciate it. These are all great guys. I hope that you'll go check out their channels. Before I get started, I want to give a big thank you to my friend Ira Comics Quest. When he sent his books, he was nice enough to send me a belated birthday card with a nice little chunk of cash in it and said, "Have fun at your show." And that was awesome of you, Ira. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it, man. I think everyone knows you can never have enough cash at these shows. So that was awesome, and I appreciate it, Ira. Next up, my buddy Tom, Hippies Collectibles, sent me a couple books to get signed, and he threw in for me a copy of Howard the Duck #1 because he knows I love this original Howard the Duck series, and Steve Gerber's writing on it. So thank you for that. And he also knows I love Man-Thing and Swamp Thing, so he sent me Adventures into Fear #10. Great stuff, and this is a pretty awesome copy too, so thank you very much for those, Tom. Really appreciate it. My friend Fool Killer 5150, like I said, we get books signed for each other, and he had a convention back in June where he lives in Arkansas, and he was nice enough to take my Fury of Firestorm #1 and get it signed by Pat Broderick. And I really appreciate that because I did not have anything signed by Pat Broderick. I've never met him, but now I have a book signed by him, so thank you. And I was really excited when I heard Gil Gerard was doing Steve's show. He's apparently a native to Steve's state. And I was a big, big fan of the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century TV show in the early 80s with Gil Gerard and the super fine Aaron Gray. So I knew Gil Gerard charged $30, so I offered to PayPal Steve the money if he would get this book signed for me, and he did, and I thank you so much for this, Steve. He took my Whitman Buck Rogers. I believe this might be issue #4. It's either 3 or 4 because they had a #1 that had nothing to do with the TV show, but I digress. This is part 3 of the adaptation of the Buck Rogers pilot episode. And he took it and got it signed right here by Gil Gerard for me, and that is just awesome. I thank you so much for that, Steve. And Steve also threw in some books for me. I completed my Red Sonja She-Devil with a Sword run, but I did not have this miniseries, Red Sonja Wrath of the Gods, so Steve sent me issue 3 and issue 4. That's very cool of you. I appreciate that. And he also sent me this gorgeous cover to Vampirella #10. I believe it's maybe supposed to be the Garden of Eden, but it's by the great Mike Mayhew, who always does some great painted covers. So thank you very much for that, Steve. I appreciate it. Next up, my buddy Michael Jocko from Canada really hooked me up. I'm getting some books signed for him at Baltimore. I didn't get any books out to him in time, unfortunately. He's attending Toronto Fan Expo the same weekend that I'm doing my show. So I hope you have an awesome time, buddy, and thank you so much for these books. Michael has an uncanny knack of just randomly picking out books I don't have. Literally out of this stack of books, I only had 1 of them. So that is awesome, and I appreciate it. He sent me the Superman 39 Harley Quinn variant by Amanda Connor. Sent me this action figure variant to Spider-Woman #1. Very cool. Thank you for that. Wolverine #20 with a great John Byrne cover here. Sent me Wolverine #88 with Deadpool. I believe it's Deadpool. I have to read it and double check, but I'm pretty sure that is. Wolverine #11. The Logan Legacy #6. Not sure who did that cover, but it's gorgeous. And the Logan Legacy #7. Obviously tied into the death of Wolverine. Sent me Marvel Comics Presents 125. We're both working on this run. He's a lot closer to completing it than I am. Marvel Comics Presents 126. Batman Unseen #4. And big fan of Kelly Jones' art on Batman, so thank you for that. And he also sent me the last issue of Batman Unseen, issue number 5. Sent me Batwing number 4. Batwing number 5. And Batman Journey into Night number 11. This is the only one that he sent that I already had, but it's a Pat Lee Joker cover, so I certainly don't mind having a double of that. And he also sent me New 52 Batgirl rather, number 2, which I have number 1, did not have this one, so really, really appreciate that, Michael. Hope you have an awesome time at your show, buddy. Last up, I bought some books off my friend Evan Leahy, and I sent him some books for free a few months back, and he didn't have to, but he threw in some extra books and really went above and beyond. I really appreciate it. We talk frequently, so Evan knew I needed all these books, but I bought Five Ghosts number 1 off him. I had the Phantom variant to this, but I didn't have the regular number 1. And then he got this spread number 1 Phantom variant, which is a cover homage to Lone Wolf and Cub. Those of you that have read this series know it takes a lot from Lone Wolf and Cub. I really, really love this book and recommend people picking it up. So I bought that. He gave me a really good deal on that one. And this one too. Ghost in the Shell Man Machine Interface number 1. I have this whole series, but my number 1 was a second print, so Evan sold me this first print dirt cheap. So I really thank you for that. This was the big purchase, I bought this Detective 400 off him. Neal Adams' legendary Challenge of the Man-Bat. Had the power book and record set of this when I was a kid. Wanted to get this. Evan said it's probably about a 4.0, might even be a little better, but he gave me a pretty nice deal on that. So thank you very much. Happy to finally own that book. Sent me Airboy number 5 with this stunning, stunning Dave Stevens cover. I've been looking for this. It's not worth much, but it's hard to find. And after buying those books, Evan threw in all these for free for me, and that was really awesome of you, man. Sent me Comics Interview number 91 with Neal Adams, Cyber Rad cover. He knows I'm a huge Dave Stevens and Rocketeer fan. He sent me the Comics Interview 97 Rocketeer movie special. Can't wait to read that. And he sent me this Star Wars Comics Interview number 138, the Boba Fett cover. I'm actually a big fan of the new Valiant Rise series. It's the only Valiant book I've been picking up, and they continued his story in the 4001 AD miniseries. One of the main reasons, the story's great, but one of the main reasons I've been really digging this series is Clayton Crane's gorgeous art. And Evan sent me the Loot Crate variant to 4001 AD number 1, absolutely free. It's very cool of you. I'm only missing like 4 issues, I believe, of Frank Cho's Liberty Meadows, and Evan was nice enough to send me these 2 for free. I offered to pay for them, but he said, I'll just give them to you. That was really cool. It's issue 35 and issue 37, kind of a Golden Age EC type sci-fi homage cover. This is a great series. If you haven't read it, it is not for kids though. Great stuff. Couldn't believe he sent me this for free. DC Superstars number 11 featuring Zatanna. It's one of only 3 issues of DC Superstars I was missing, and by far the most expensive issue I was missing, so thank you very much for that. It's a pretty awesome copy. And he picked up this Hulk Annual 6 in trade, and I offered to buy it from him, and he said, I'll just give it to you. He said, I made out well on the trade. I traded a bunch of dollar books, so that was really awesome of you. This book has gone up a little bit recently, as most of you know, so that was awesome of him. And last but not least, here's another book I offered to buy off him. When he looked it up on eBay, he said, I'll just send it to you. I had this book when I was younger, and it made a big impression on me from you know, got John Byrne, Art Adams, and Dick Giordano working on it. This gorgeous Arthur Adams cover. And I remember the story was about vampires, and because of the nature of their powers, they could affect Superman. And it was a great read, and I think I let a friend borrow it and never got it back in middle school. So very happy to get another copy of this, and it's a high-grade one. So thank you so much, Evan, for all that. You really, really hooked me up, and I appreciate it. And just to close out, I didn't buy too many books this month because I've been saving money for my convention, but I hit my pull list store, and as they often do, they were having sale prices on sets of comics. Picked up Supergirl Rebirth #1. I asked for the Adam Hughes covers for these before they came out. All 3 shops around me sold out of this the day it came out, within hours. Got the Adam Hughes cover to Betty and Veronica #1, just because it's Adam Hughes. Got these in the mail. The much maligned and controversial Harley Quinn Rebirth Aspen variants. And I didn't get the Puddin' pack because it was more expensive, and I knew just from the time that Michael Turner passed away, before they even admitted to it, when you see Harley Quinn with that hairstyle, you knew Michael Turner didn't draw that. Somebody had altered his drawing. So I just bought the set with the color variant and the sketch variant. I was kind of irritated about how Aspen handled that, and it's probably going to prevent me from buying too many more books of theirs. At my shop, I was fortunate enough to get, I'm not going to make you sit through all of them, but I got the complete run of Star Slayer. I believe it's like 32 or 34 issues, but I got the complete run for 25 bucks because it was half off. And there's #1 with a great Mike Grell cover. Issue 2, first appearance of Dave Stevens' Rocketeer, has a great back cover by Dave Stevens, but unfortunately I didn't take it out. And #3 also has the Rocketeer second appearance. Got these for $2.50 a piece, and I will always buy Rocketeer stuff when I see it. I think it's criminally undervalued. And this is, well, now it's my 3rd copy because I traded one, but this is Pacific Presents #1, Dave Stevens Rocketeer, Missing Man by Steve Ditko, awesome cover. And also got Pacific Presents #2. This has some slight problems, nothing too bad, but just a stunning, stunning Dave Stevens cover. He's awesome. Picked this up too. They actually, my buddy Al was nice enough to just give this to me for free because it has some creases on the top corner here. But this is Blackthorn's Planet Comics #1 relaunch with this, again, a gorgeous Dave Stevens cover. Can't say enough about this man. Wish he left us more art. Got these Steranko variants that Marvel's continuing to do. This is a sketch variant to Black Panther #5. And if any of you bought these, please let me know what you think, because these 2 Steranko covers had the crappiest excuse for cover stock paper I've ever seen. It's almost like tissue paper. It's ridiculous how cheap Marvel's getting on their paper stock. I mean, come on. You know, $4 cover price. I mean, you can see through it. You can see through it. And you touch it, you're going to mess it up. I was really pissed off. They take this man's great artwork and print it on crap. But here's the Steranko sketch variant to Uncanny Avengers #11. They're beautiful looking. I even think the transfer is a little muddy if you look at his face and arms. So I don't know if that's from the transfer or the paper stock, but I don't think they did him justice. And but hey, that's Marvel right now for you. Found this in the discount bin. I think this was either $2.50 or $5, but gorgeous copy of Grant Morrison's Animal Man #1 with these ridiculous Brian Boland covers. It's a run I really need to get around to finishing. At the time it came out, those books were a lot more expensive. Well, not too long after they came out, they were a lot more expensive than they are now. My shop knows that I'm a big Greg and Tim Hildebrandt fan, and so they gave me a nice deal. I believe these are 1 in 25 variants. I could be wrong, but they gave me a nice deal on them regardless. This beautiful Thor #8 Greg Hildebrandt variant. I could stare at that cover for hours. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then he also did this variant to Black Panther #5. So I had to grab them, especially with the deal I got on them. And missed this when it came out, but my shop got me one for cover price. Deadpool 3.1. This is the first appearance of Massacre. They said they didn't order a whole lot because it was in Spanish, but they found one and gave it to me for cover since I have Deadpool on my pull list. And last but not least, I was able to find an entire run of Planetary, half off there. The full series, got it for 30 bucks, which yeah, it's less than $1 an issue. So, very excited to read this. I'm a big Warren Ellis fan. This book won tons of awards. I saw Howler Mouse was doing issue-by-issue reviews, and I watched a couple of them, and I decided I have to read this, so I didn't want to ruin the rest for myself. So now I finally get to read them. And I know it ties in to The Authority, which is, you know, one of my favorite probably my favorite Wildstorm series of all time. But got Planetary 1. Again, I won't make you sit through all of them. There's number 2, 3. John Cassidy's artwork is just stellar. Issue 4. Issue 5. Guy kind of reminds me of Doc Savage a little bit. See when I read it. And there's 26. And 27's the last issue. So no, they were a little more than $1 a piece, but totally worth it. Can't wait to get through reading these. I will do it after Baltimore Comic Con. But thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. I always appreciate your time. Thank you to all the guys who are nice enough to send me books. If I remember, I'll put links to their channel below. Please go check them out and give them a sub. Everyone, take care of yourselves and enjoy your comics.